Hi guys, welcome back to Toe to Toe Boxing. Absolutely delighted to be joined by 8-0 L Cannon, Callum Walton. Callum, how you doing?
Yes, I'm all good, mate. Thank you. Thanks for having us on. How are you? Okay?
Yeah, all good, thank you. I really appreciate you coming on.
That's fine, mate. It's good to be on.
So, first things first, what inspired you to first step into boxing and what were your influences early on?
To be honest, I was always training alongside football. I was more of a football fan to start with. I kind of just training for general fitness, and I started watching a little bit. Like your Hattons, Pacquiao's, Mayweather, that kind of era. And I got an injury playing football, and I was still able to box without making the injury any worse. So I just kind of gradually got into it more and more. And I got asked if I wanted to fight, and I'm quite a competitive person, you know what I mean? So I was like, yeah, like sure, I'll give it a go. So I trained for like maybe 4 or 5 months, and then I had my first fight, and then from there I've just been hooked, like absolutely hooked.
That's brilliant. So, did you have an amateur background at all?
Yeah, I did. So I think it was 5 or 6 unlicensed fights. And then I went on to box for amateur for Brandon Boxing Club. Had I think 32 amateur fights. Did pretty well as an amateur. So I had 32 in about 4 years. So I was very, very busy, very busy couple of years. I won 3 and Weir titles. I was a national quarter finalist in development championships and a national semi finalist in the ABAs, which is the National Amateur Championships now, like elite level. So yeah, I had a decent amateur career to be fair.
That's great. So when did you realize you could turn professional?
Um, I think wanting to turn professional and realizing I could turn professional were two different stages. I think wanting to turn professional, I think obviously you grow up watching professional boxing, so like getting into boxing to start with, I was always like, yeah, I want to be a professional. But when it was actually a reality, I would say probably 2019 time. I would maybe just between development and elite level in the amateurs, I was doing quite well. A lot of people were saying like, "Oh, you obviously I was doing well as an amateur, but you have quite a pro style." So I think probably around then, 2019 probably, which is
That's
when
brilliant.
I won the regional development title.
Right. So about 4 years then. So you turned pro in 2023. So
Yeah.
around that 2019 time then, was it sort of, did you plan for like 4 years ahead, or was it just, did you have a like, did you want to turn pro in 2023, or was it just, did it just sort of happen naturally?
It kind of happened naturally in terms of it being 2023. I think if I'd had my way, I probably would have turned pro late 2020, early 21. But obviously, COVID put a big halt on like everything that was going on. So I was just about to go in the National Amateur Championships, which is like the elites, the ABAs, in March 2020, and then lockdown happened literally a week before that. So my plan was to go in there, get as far as I can, hopefully do well, and then turn over off the back of that. Which obviously I thought like that's the elite level of amateur boxing. Once I've been at that elite level, I know I can operate at that level. Then I want to turn over. Obviously, COVID happened, put a big stop on everything. Um, so then I ended up going in the elites in 2022. I got beat in the regional final, and then I went in the next year, got to the national semi final, and that was like, right, I'm gonna kind of strike while the iron's hot. So that's why it ended up being 2023.
That's brilliant. So how would you describe your boxing style to someone that's never seen you fight?
Um, Not to blow my own trumpet, but I like to think I can do a bit of everything. Um, I think aggressive counter punches probably is the box I would put my style in. But I mean, if I need to go and push the action, I can. If I need to counter punch and go on the back foot, I feel like I can. Yeah, I feel like to be adaptable.
That's great. I think it's good to have a few tools in your arsenal for sure.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I think it was I was Andrea Ward. I watched an interview of his, and he said it really well. It's like you kind of just you need to be able to do more than one thing. Like if your opponent wants to get up close, you've got to make a move. If your opponent wants to move, you've got to get up close to him. You know what I mean? You've got to be able to change and adapt and have different styles.
Definitely. And how would you find your career so far? How have you found your career so far?
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, it started off really well. Obviously, my debut was on a really big televised show, on the Ritson versus O'Hara Davis undercard. So it was a great start of my career. Um, I feel like I've done very well since. I've not really put a foot wrong. I think I've lost one round in 8 fights. I'm very happy with like sort of the management team like on my team. They've done really well by us. They've matched me well. I feel like I'm progressing, building into the rounds. So yeah, I'm happy with how it started, but I'm ready to push on a little bit now.
Yeah, that's great. So your next fight's on the 18th of April, v Grant Dennis. How are
Yeah.
preparations going for that one?
Yeah, really good. Obviously it's my first trip up to 8 rounds, so kind of been pushing the training a little bit more, doing that bit extra. But yeah, I'm feeling very well. I started training. Obviously, I'm always training, but I started training for this fight specifically at the start of the year. We originally had the 4th of April as the date, then I got put back a couple of weeks. So yeah, it's been a good couple of months at it. I'm feeling really good.
That's great. And obviously, you wouldn't be overlooking anyone. But we know what Grant Dennis is about. Um, After this fight, are you sort of looking to push on towards titles?
Yeah, I would hope so. We were kind of trying to look and get one for this show here. But the region's quite like scarce at the minute in my weight. There's a lot going on in the region, but like nobody that we kind of stood out as a Northern Area title like challenger. So yeah, any sort of title really. I've said Northern Area if we can get like an English Eliminator or a Commonwealth Silver, something like that. Any sort of title will do me.
That would be brilliant, wouldn't it? And then you could sort of push on from there. It sort of puts a target on your back.
Yeah, that's it, and hopefully it makes getting like bigger fights a bit easier. And I do feel as well with the longer rounds, I think it'll suit my style a little bit more as well. So
Brilliant. So you sort of looking to push up to 10 rounds after this fight, or?
yeah, ideally, obviously most titles tend to be at least 10 rounds, don't they? So that will kind of go hand in hand.
So the Northeast must be buzzing at the moment with Josh Kelly recently becoming world champion and Troy Williamson knocking on the door for a world title shot. Are you sort of hoping to be the next champion from the Northeast?
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's always been a bit of a hotbed for boxing, and it's gone under the radar quite a lot. So I think it's good, obviously, what Troy's doing, what Josh is doing. It's bringing like kind of eyeballs back to the northeast. I think people are realizing how good of a region it is. Um, so yeah, hopefully I can be sort of the next in that line and bring even more big nights back to the northeast. Be nice
That
to
would
get
be
on one of
great.
them big nights. Be nice to be on the undercard.
That would be brilliant. We look forward to that. So how is your local boxing scene in County Durham?
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, not just County Durham, but the northeast in general, kind of up to Newcastle, down to Middlesbrough. It's a really busy scene. Like people don't realise how good the amateur scene is in the northeast. I think we're probably statistically, I think we're the second best, most successful region in the country. Obviously, Berkeley had great success like a few years ago with all the boxers that they turned out. But yeah, honestly, it's buzzing like from amateur, professional, unlicensed. Like the northeast is a really busy region. Like it's a fighting region, put it that way.
That's great. Plenty of big nights ahead then.
Yeah, that's the plan. Hopefully, like I say, it's just I hope that the bigger promoters kind of come up here more often because hopefully they're starting to realise that the talent's here.
Definitely. Are there any venues you would like to fight in? Have you got any dream venues?
Yeah, dream venues, St James's Park definitely, and I think one of the big American ones as well, whether that be like Madison Square Garden or the MGM. I think I'd love to box on one of them.
That would be awesome. Has there ever been any talks to you going overseas for fights?
No, nothing substantial. We went on a boxing club trip to Canada a couple of years ago, and it wasn't really like anything serious, but we had like a conversation about boxing over there, and it was never really realistic because of the time frame. But yeah, we just kind of spoke about how good it would be and like the possibility of it.
That would be great.
Yeah, which
What advice would you give any young boxers coming through?
I would say find a coach that you fully trust with your life, effectively. You know what I mean? Because when you're in between them ropes, like your life can be on the line. So yeah, just find a coach that you trust, listen to your coach, and just be dedicated.
That's great advice. Thank you. And is there anything you would like to add?
Just a thanks to all of my team from coaches, Brandon Boxing Club, my management, One Empire manager management, and my sponsors. All my sponsors are a big help. Um, and also, obviously, at the stage of my career that I'm in, is people that buy tickets to come and watch. Obviously, I wouldn't be able to box without those people. So, massive thanks to those.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much for your time, Callum,
No
and I wish
problem.
you all the best.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks a lot. Bye bye.
Cheers. Thanks, mate. Bye bye.